All right. Good afternoon, good people. I hope all is well. My name is Whitney Clark. I am a write-in candidate for Detroit City Council. I am checking my emails daily as I do, and I am just again checking emails. And I have an email from someone here. I'm going to read it out loud. It seems to be a bit juicy. I just want to just put that out there. I can't stop laughing. I kind of know what it's about, but I haven't read it, so I'm going to read the body of it together with you all for the first time. I am writing you regarding one of the candidates running against you in Detroit District 5, Renata Miller, who served on my neighborhood's board in Indian Village. Last night at a special meeting held in Indian Village, Renata Miller was censured by a vote by an outstanding number of residents, 169 association members. Her censure was largely because of a flagrant ethical and financial violations in her tenure as president, vice president, and membership chair of the historic Indian Village Association. The special meeting last night was called by the IVA residents for transparency after attempts by them and many other neighbors over the course of a year plus to seek answers for the lawsuit the IVA board filed against a neighbor. The neighbor was building a garage and received full city and historic permission to do so, but the board, due to a personal grudge, still filed a lawsuit against this neighbor. They were advised by their lawyers in 2024 to drop the lawsuit deemed unwinnable over legal advice. And over legal advice, Renata Miller, attending as president emeritus, urged all board members to vote down the motion and continue the lawsuit. And she and 8 other board members voted to continue the lawsuit. Several weeks ago, the lawsuit was dismissed by a judge with prejudice, ruling HIVA had failed to prove any legitimate violations on which relief could be granted. That HIVA had failed to follow proper procedures or appeals, and that the property they alleged was in violation was actually in full compliance. During this entire time, the board failed to notify members they'd even filed a lawsuit, let alone communicating they'd spent tens of thousands of neighborhood dollars on suing a neighbor, and and that's before the neighbor's valid attempt to recoup their legal costs. Under her leadership, Renata Miller left the board in several financial straits. In 2021, we had $112,000 per treasurer report in the account. In May 2025, we have only $34,327. I personally attended a board meeting with many other neighbors trying to assertion the facts of the lawsuit and the board's actions, and witnessed Renata Miller deliberately obfuscating to prevent neighbors from getting their questions. I don't know if I pronounced it or that was spelled correctly. Let's just call it let's just call it even, and we'll just use our context clues. She was obstructing. Was she obstructing? She was deliberately obstructing. We're using our context clues. She was doing something intentionally to prevent. My screen then went out, Lord. I got to touch my screen. Okay. Help me. I'm not trying to move anything. Okay, wait. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. So, where were we at? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, she was deliberately obstructing or trying to prevent neighbors from getting their questions answered and treating questionnaires with rudeness and divisiveness. Help me, Lord. Dismissiveness, I should say. Dismissiveness. Okay. I am horrified that this is one of the districts of that this is one of District 5's candidates, a person who pursued a malicious lawsuit against a fellow neighbor, encouraged her board to do the same, even at extreme financial cost and against legal advice, and is now actually censured from her neighborhood board due to her actions, an extreme outcome that has rarely been used by the IVA. It was referred to as the HIVA, but now it's being referred to again as the IVA before. And I'm stunned that this information hasn't yet been published in the press, as people have full information about the candidate's actions and how they've harmed her neighborhood as she seeks an even greater position of power. I'm writing you, in writing to you. Okay, so she's saying, I'm writing to you. I am hoping this information is helpful or at least insightful in your candidacy. I know that there are quite a few candidates running for District 5, and frankly, I would rather any one of them, any one of you win than the Indian Village resident who has so harmed my fellow neighbors. I am happy to provide receipts for any of this information here if you should wish, or refer to speak or refer you to speak to other 5 residents and leaders. I would love to receive an email back from your staffer that you have received this email. Cheers, and that is the name. Okay. There you go. And I spoke to a reporter off the record, and they said that there was a report coming out about Renata Miller. And the day and age that we live in, I'm gonna contact this person, and I'm gonna ask him to give me a call. I'm gonna get I'm going to invite them on to the podcast. That's the way we do things nowadays. And I'm going to ask them why yeah. Uh-huh. All right. Okay, so, hey, shout outs to the people. Hey, listen, I hope all is well. Happy 4th of July weekend. Listen, man, whether you're on the left or the right, whether you are, man, listen, whether you want to go back to a certain part of our history or whether you think it should all be listen, man, this is by far, hands down, by God's grace, the greatest country, the most free country in the world. And so we are so grateful to God that we get to celebrate another July 4th. And I talk about this all the time. Because I do say to my friends and family and people that know me, like, I am very, very proud to be an American. I really am. Because I would not want to be under the rule or reign of any other government. You know what I mean? And so 2 things can be true. I say it this way all the time. You walk into a club, right? Stay with me. And there are no pretty girls in there. There are 10 girls in there. None of them are pretty, right? Stay with me. To you. And everybody has a preference, so I don't want to get into a spat about that. I'm just giving an example. Out of those 10 girls, someone is still the prettiest. You see what I'm saying? And so that is the comparison that I use as it pertains to our country and like being a better country. Um, you know, I think that, you know, when you look at um, when you look at different when you look at the different ways that we can move forward as a country to be better, I think that's obvious and clear, you know. But then when you look at us, you know, compared to the other countries, you know, in the club that we're in the club with, I think we're still the prettiest, even if we aren't as pretty as we can be for ourselves. You know, I am thankful to have been born in this country, and so I hope that you are as well, and I hope that you can see the difference between the two. One, the country fulfilling its potential, and then two, this country being the greatest country uh, on planet Earth in the history of the world. When we compare it to the privileges that we have, and just you know, and so anywho, with that being said, happy 4th of July. God is good. But yeah, let's get back to this email. I just wanted to I guess I just wanted to say the obvious there. Happy 4th of July to all the wonderful people watching. And I think I got a visitor coming. Come on, bud. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Alrighty, so listen. What do you guys think about this email? What do you guys think about this email? And let me tell you something else that I can really, really say about this young lady. You know, if you know me, or if you kind of follow, kind of like, I don't want to say follow, but if you've kind of been watching like a couple of our YouTube, if you've been following a couple of our YouTube videos and kind of know what we're doing here, then you can kind of tell, like, I understand this to a degree to be a sport. And so what that allows me to do is allows me to play very competitively, but still play in a respectful, almost still charismatic, you know, above the ropes type of fashion. But even within the sport that you play or you find people that opponents that you really don't think that you would mesh well with, or people that have said things or done things that, you know, you're like, yes, I know I'm competing against you, but then there's also an element of like, you're not my type, you know what I mean? And so, and Miss Renata has been the type of person, just in my encounters, to be someone who has been a little bit rude. I'd say I've seen her in some encounters. You know, one example, one instance that I can recall, when she was turning in her signatures, and this lady was like, yeah, the lady was kind of trying to cut the line, but the way that she handled it wasn't a way that you want your council person to handle something that's a small thing. Because had that lady not had some type of you know, if that lady was socially aware of that rudeness, then that could have been a whole issue, you know, especially in a city like Detroit. And so, you know, we're gonna need big change, structural change. And the way that you're going to get structural change is by harnessing and harvesting the power that exists when people come together. And so what that means is you're going to need a unifier. You're going to need someone who has the type of personality who is not vindictive, right? Someone who is not going to go against the grain in a way that is, you know, harmful to the greater good, because it's going to take bringing people into that greater good in order to move the needle on some of the big issues. And that's my position on this. That's my position, is that the only way we're going to get this done is by bringing people together. And I'm the person for that job, because I'm someone who takes pride in bringing people together, who takes pride in having that personal kind of connection with all of the different groups, or all of the different, you know, people on the spectrum here, and so, and finding that common thread and showing people how, their perspective is, one, important to, informing the greater good, and two, how this can benefit them, because everybody kind of wants a piece of the pie, right? Everybody wants an opportunity to enjoy the success, and so you've got to be able to articulate that amongst different groups of people in order to bring people together, because you don't really have power, particularly in this type of office. You don't really have the power that you need unless you can get to five votes, right? 7 districts, 2 at large. So that's 9 people. You got to get to 5 votes. You got to be able to coalesce not only your district, but you got to be able to coalesce, just amongst the city, amongst other people's interests. And she doesn't seem like someone that will be able to vote for something. She'd be the one that be voting against. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't see her as a unifier. And this is evidence of that. I'm looking forward to hearing from this person. I just gave them my number. This is crazy to hear this. It's kind of crazy. But I heard about this. I was talking to a reporter off the record, and they said that there was a story coming out about this, the fact that she had got censured. And so, listen. Wow. Squandered, what is that, 34 from 112? Sheesh Louise. Man, that's a lot of money there, man, that she spent in a year's time. Wow, to let the board in severe. Wow. All right, well, that's all I've got. I just wanted to kind of read that she pursued a personal. She pursued a lawsuit against the neighbor, even against the advice of the lawyers, and it resulted in, lawyer fees. Wow. And so, and that's what I said about Renata Miller. I've said that from day one. How is she going to fix District 5 and she can't even fix Indian Village? I've said that several times. How is she going to fix all of the district and she can't even fix her own neighborhood? And you can tell that she's not going to win, because when you knock 133, nobody likes Renata Miller. So if they don't like you in your own precinct, then I don't know. I'm just saying. My neighbors think highly of me. Let's just put that out there. I'm just going to put that out there. My neighbors think highly of me. But nevertheless, this is one of the candidates that believe that they're in the lead for this race. I believe this is anybody's race. We're about to get back out here and knock doors this evening, because this is a race that we can win. But again, we've got to make these types of things an issue. I'm gonna invite them onto a podcast. What is this? Let me see. Shouts to the people. I hope all is well. It is time for me to get a haircut. I got to give me a cut for the 4th, man, so I can be looking like somebody's father's uncle. All right. Well, anyway, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to read that email out because that is something I'm going to be referring back to here. Yeah. The lady said, I am horrified that this is one of District 5's candidates. A person who pursued a malicious lawsuit against a fellow neighbor encouraged her board to do the same, even at extreme financial cost and against legal advice, and is now actually censured from her neighborhood board due to her actions, an extreme outcome that has rarely been used in IVA before. And I'm stunned that this information hasn't yet been published in the press so that people have full information about the candidate's actions and how they've harmed her neighborhood as she seeks, as as she seeks an even greater position of power. Ooh. She said, I'm writing to you. I am hoping this information is helpful or at least insightful in your candidacy. Shoosh. Man, that's crazy. All right, well, there you go. I want to put that out there. I want to make sure that you had that information today. When did I receive that? Did I receive? Oh, let's see when they sent that. Oh, they sent that. They sent 4. They've been trying to get it to me. All right, I see it. I got it.